Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Lots of new comments from Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. There's a tweet which reads as follows: "Building a great board of directors doesn't happen by accident." Shared a smattering of thoughts on this and then links to a TechCrunch piece. So I'm going to share with you parts of the article, really just the parts that provide insight from Brad Garlinghouse. I just found it fascinating, haven't really heard him talk about this subject, and really anything I can glean from him and the way he's looking at the way Ripple's run or this or that, any sort of business insights, I find personally quite fascinating. I'm also going to share with you several additional tweets from the XRP community on various topics, which I found fascinating. And I'm going to wrap up with an article from Reuters, and it's about the custodying of cryptocurrencies by banks. And indeed, I suspect as time passes, you will see more and more custody solutions, both for the retail side as well as institutional investors, including XRP and pretty much any cryptocurrency on the planet. But before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button, and if you want to hear a smattering of Brad Garlinghouse thoughts, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel, and then the smattering will commence. Now, through context, look, I'm aware of the word smattering. It's not a word that's used in daily conversation all too frequently. It's not part of my regular vernacular. And so I wanted to make sure I knew what it was, because through context I was thinking, oh, does that mean he's sharing a lot of thoughts? Through context I thought perhaps that's what it meant. But no, it's time to learn something from Moon Lambo unrelated to XRP. I looked up smattering on dictionary.com, and did you know what it means? I'm going to share with you right now. It's a slight, superficial, or introductory knowledge of something. And so in context, I suppose that it really more so fits, given the content within the article. I'm going to share more so an introductory knowledge of something. So I propose that we get on to the smattering. You guys ready for some smattering? I'm going to say that a bunch in this video. Let's get all smattered up in this bitch. All right, so this is from TechCrunch right here. And I'll read a little bit of the intro here just so you can kind of get a feel for it. But other than that, I did a little Control F. For those of you that don't know, if you use Control F on a web page, you can just type in whatever word you're looking for. In this case, I typed in Garlinghouse, and there were 8 results, and that's how I'm going to know how to flow through this piece as we proceed here. But anyway, over a recent dinner with 20 C-suite executives, one founder, CEO, recounted how he was preparing a slide for a company all hands with headshots of his board of directors when he was struck by the contrast between his gender-balanced employee base and his all-male board. "It wasn't something I was proud to share with the team," he told us, as heads around the table nodded. To other CEOs in the room, got it. The other CEOs did. A board populated exclusively by men is at odds with efforts to promote diversity and inclusion throughout the organization. For too many CEOs, the composition of their boards can feel more like a liability than a strategic asset. Board diversity offers an array of benefits, including new perspectives that can improve decision-making and reduce groupthink, access to a broader talent pool, and of course the symbolic power of women and minorities at the top rung of the corporate ladder. And don't worry, the thrust of this article is not about some sort of a gender equality thing. That's a fine topic, but not really so much for an XRP-centric Moon Lambo channel. That's not really what we get into here. But I will say I love diversity of thought, absolutely. I'll tell you what, as it pertains to us, diversity of thought in the XRP community matters. So, because look, I always love engaging with people that are just trying to get to the truth. Maybe we all have different opinions or ways we think something's going to go in the world of XRP and crypto. And we can't think of everything on our own. And so to me, it's always really fun to think critically from thoughtful individuals throughout, certainly the XRP community, and non-maximalists in particular in the world of crypto, even if they're not the part of XRP. So there's a subheading here: view your board as a strategic asset here. All right. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse says his board brings a satellite view of the world so that we can analyze global macro trends that may converge or diverge, affecting Ripple's future. For early stage startups, board members can help address tactical needs, providing introductions to candidates or lending functional expertise to shape strategy. And so that's just the beginning of the smattering. There's more smattering to come, don't worry. So now I'm going to use my little Control F function and go to the next one here. There we are here. So here's another quote from Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. Here's some more smattering. It's important to have diversity of thought to protect the company from groupthink, adds Garlinghouse. Also, diverse boards bring different personal networks to bear. As companies scale, especially for startups, the most effective, impactful boards are diverse ones. Okay, and let me go to the next one now. Here's some more smattering from Garlinghouse. Garlinghouse cautions CEOs that building diverse boards and leadership teams take time and intention, so make it part of your mission from the beginning. It should not be an afterthought. Otherwise, those with the right experience who get the big jobs will continue to look the same. Exactly. We don't want groupthink. This all seems reasonable so far, right? All right, next. According to Garlinghouse, CEOs should always be recruiting. It's always the right time to take that coffee meeting. I disagree. Coffee tastes bad, and that's actually like it's not an opinion. As it turns out, that's an actual fact. Coffee, when you put it in your mouth, your taste buds won't like it. It's just, I don't know if you knew that, but like that's an actual fact right there. So now, you're learning all sorts of stuff. You're learning about smattering. You're learning coffee tastes bad. Here we go. Let's continue with the smattering, though. Garlinghouse suggests that CEOs pay attention to what's happening in adjacent verticals, especially if you're in a space that's constantly evolving. The perfect director might not, and likely won't, have a career get dedicated to what your company does, but skills always transfer. Words hard for Moon Lambo. Yeah, that concept definitely rings true to me, and that goes back to kind of what I'm saying. Like, diversity of thought is actually kind of important, and skill sets certainly can overlap there. Next here, we got. Here's another quote from Brad Garlinghouse. It's never too early to have an independent director on the board, agrees Garlinghouse at Ripple, where the first independent was appointed only after a year after the company's founding. The advantage of having independent directors, he points out, is that CEOs can prioritize diversity of thought because they are not constrained by board seats controlled by shareholders. With independent directors, CEOs have more flexibility in choosing an expertise in a specific area or a unique experience that's currently lacking to bring companies to the next stage of scale. And then there's just, actually that was it. That's the end of the smattering right there. And Brad Garlinghouse, he has not been too active lately, and which is fine, at least not on Twitter, but I guess after him being on the news and swell, like, every day for, it seemed like weeks on end. It wasn't literally, but I guess he kind of took a little break off. Because really, this is the first tweet that we had seen from him since November 15th. So I don't know when will be the next time that we get another smattering. So I hope that you enjoyed that. Hopefully you're not smatted out by it or anything like that. Next, here's a tweet from Abel XRP, who writes, "The new plumbers are here." And then there's a picture of Swift Plumbing and Heating, and this is kind of a little joke at something that SEC Chairman Jay Clayton said the other day, and he's talking about just the concept of new plumbing as it pertains to fintech, money moving around the world. The quote, "new plumbing" was used, and so that's what that is. So anyway, Abel XRP tagged me along with Bank XRP and the Bearable Bull, who is a fellow XRP YouTuber. So Abel XRP, thank you for tagging me, and I wanted to give you a shout out. I appreciate the tag and the picture. All right, next, here's a tweet from XRP community member Eric DeDune. And he writes this in response to something from... I'm just going to cover the... I need to get in the habit of reading these first. There was a tweet from CZ, which was also in and of itself a retweet. So let's start here. Alex Libertus wrote this. "Strange to see that despite all the controls from China, more than half of the Bitcoin mining comes from there. More so, it is predominantly hydroelectric powered, which is a good thing. CZ Binance," that's the CEO founder of Binance, cryptocurrency exchange, he retweeted that and wrote this. "Mining is highly encouraged in China. They hope to control Bitcoin by having all the miners in the country," in parentheses he writes, "is under their control." Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Kind of been saying things along those lines for a long time on this channel. So Eric DeDune retweeted CZ's tweet and wrote this. From an XRP community member, here's the perspective. "Why is there shock that notable crypto figures are acknowledging that proof-of-work mining is concentrated in China and that it might be," in the parentheses he writes, "it definitely is, bad? Non-maximalists have pointed to this as a giant concern for a while. A sober commentary should be celebrated good morning, right? I firmly agree with that. I'm going to go ahead and hit the little like on that particular tweet. And see, that always goes back to just the idea of why being a maximalist, it can result to closed-mindedness and tribalism and toxicity. So I'm not a fan. Like, that's not a good way to get your smattering on, if you know what I'm talking about. Like, that's not a good way to smatter it up. Here's a tweet from Hodl Style, who wrote, "Wanted to type X-ray on my phone, and all the predictive text has something to do with XRP. I think Google and I are starting to get along." See, that's good. I like that. I'm going to go ahead and retweet that while I'm recording this video because I think it's that good, Hodl Style. I'm going to give you a little smiley face emoji, and I'm going to give you a thumbs up. Here we go. There's the smiley, and there's the thumbs up, and we're going to retweet that. I like that. Anyway, shout out to you, good sir. Next, here's a tweet from Mr. Use Case. He writes this: "I've made some dumb decisions in my life, but everything has led me on a path to have found CSC," that's Casino Coin, which, by the way, is a clone of XRP, and an XRP at one of the most opportune times in crypto. So he's appreciative that found Casino Coin and XRP. So excited to watch these coins grow not only in value, but through mass adoption and their use cases. Well, you're saying some key words right there. Mass adoption, absolutely. See, that's why my entire investment thesis is utility matters and will win the day. And so I don't know a ton about Casino Coin. I just know that it's a clone of XRP and that it was modified to fit a particular way in which it would make sense for a new type of currency to be utilized in the world of online gambling. That's about the extent of what I can recall. I actually did research the coin in 2017, but hell, that was basically 2 years ago, so I don't really remember a whole lot about it. Once I found out about the clear use of XRP, there was a point after researching a few dozen cryptocurrencies where I was just like, there's not much here to look at. So I just really started a laser focus on XRP, and I think it was the right move because I'm seeing that it's the only cryptocurrency on the planet gaining any real adoption, any sort of meaningful adoption. So I think that price will follow that actual value. It'll just take time. I don't make price predictions, so I don't know what the timeline is going to be. XRP Crypto Wolf shared this next piece with me, and so thank you very much as always, good sir. I very much appreciate that. And this one's titled "Exclusive: ING Working on Digital Assets Custody Technology." So you say sources. A Dutch bank, ING, is working on developing technology to help clients safely store digital assets, according to people familiar with the matter. Or with the smatter, but no? Okay. All right, I'm done. The custody project, which is being run out of Amsterdam, is still in its early days and is one of the bank's several initiatives around blockchain, the technology underlying cryptocurrencies, the sources said. ING sees increasing opportunities with regard to digital assets on both asset-backed and native security tokens, the bank said in a written statement to Reuters. ING is particularly focused on developing the technology behind digital assets to give its clients a compliant way to access the emerging sector, it added. Now, Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO, made me think back to something that he had previously predicted would have happened by now. He thought that it would have been there would have been plenty of banks that are actually custodying, not just XRP, but just cryptocurrencies on a larger scale. And he was asked about that, roughly a year later, and he said he's kind of surprised, but suspects it's still to come. And I would agree with that. I don't know what the timeline is going to look like, but you're going to see more and more of this because, of course, the cryptocurrency asset class is not going away, and it's just a matter-of-fact type of thing, no matter what Bitcoin maxis have to say, because they think that everybody should just hold their private keys, but it's a cold hard fact. Not everybody's going to feel comfortable doing that. Some people like the safety of a centralized custody solution, and that's fine. And if people don't want a centralized custody solution, that's fine too. But it goes back to the whole concept that I keep stating on this channel, applies to all sorts of different facets of the crypto world. It's quite simply, people want different things. You can't shoehorn people into cryptocurrencies and particular ways to have those cryptocurrencies stored. It's just not going to work. And that goes back to the concept too. It's in line. The concept's in line with the idea that there will not be one cryptocurrency to rule them all. People want different cryptocurrencies for different things. Some people, it pertains to the use case of using a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or whatever it is in the place of fiat currency. Some people, pretty much the world over at this point, about 100% of people have no interest in that because their fiat currencies work. Unless you're in a third world country, I mean, there are certainly many examples that can be cited that really not so hot, but that's where, if there's utility to be had, that's where it will pick up first anyway. That's what I think, as it pertains to actually using a cryptocurrency in the place of money. But anyway, the project comes as established financial companies look into offering custody and other services for both cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin as well as other types of digital assets. And my friends, XRP is going to absolutely be a part of this, I'm telling you. Many large financial firms are hoping that traditional assets such as bonds or stocks can be turned into digital assets and be issued and transferred using blockchain technology. They believe this could help streamline and reduce costs in some complex capital market processes. Others have started offering custody of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ether, or announced their intention to do so. And let me scroll just a little bit further. There's one thing I want to mention. They highlighted in this article here. Japanese bank Nomura Holdings also announced in 2018 that it had set up a new venture to offer custody of cryptocurrencies for institutional investors. While banks and other financial firms continue to invest in developing blockchain, the technology has yet to deliver on its promise. Well, it depends. As it pertains to XRP, it's delivering right now at scale. It's going to get bigger and bigger, of course, but I'd say it's already delivering at scale. So that's the thing. Most of the world, doesn't own crypto, doesn't own Bitcoin, and even fewer are aware of the existence of XRP. And so it goes back to something that this tweet. Who is it that said it? Here we go, from Mr. Use Case, talking about how he's feeling really fortunate that he came across Casino Coin and XRP when he did. Well, I share the sentiment. I really do. It's like most people just don't know about this stuff. And given that we know in the XRP community that XRP is actually being used, and in order for businesses utilizing it to continue existing, it needs to continue to be held, where the hell do you think this is ultimately going to go? That's why I could not be more bullish on this. It's because utility matters. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for stopping by. I am not a financial advisor. I'm all about smattering, though. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say, all right. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!